seen before appear.
This shit is it's pretty wild. I don't know much about Tarkov, for the record. Um, I have a friend that plays it, and I'm sure he'll be here in a minute, and I'm sure he'll be able to explain to us why this is the entirely most stupid thing he's ever heard. I just don't get the logic behind doing this. And I know game devs have been they've been talking about doing like so the whole here I'll bring it up. Game devs have been talking about now. By the way, it's not game developers that are the problem; it's the owners themselves. Um, should gamers be? I want quotes from. So Ubisoft says out loud, "We want people to get used to not owning what they bought," and that's pretty much what they said. From what I understand, it is. And the entire concept is you lease a game when you buy it digitally, which is how like 90% of games are purchased nowadays, and which is how most players prefer to buy them because it's not a physical edition that can be broken. I personally like having physical copies, but I see why a lot of people don't. So it surprises me. I guess it doesn't surprise me because it's all big money. It's all a big money thing. That's all it is. One moment. Okay, I was just checking audio on the stream, guys. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that they would go this route because why just give a game for $60 that you then own and can play forever when they could claim you're leasing the game? You know what I mean? You're just leasing the game, which technically I'm pretty sure in the like fine print, I'm sure it says that you are just leasing this game. You're leasing the digital rights to the game, which I have a few issues with, and I'm going to talk to Shane about it when he gets back. But we're going to go over this real quick. It's worth going to the source here because it's being widely misrepresented. Blah blah blah. If you resume your game at another time, your progress file is still there. That's not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built in the game or your engagement with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game. Just that. There's a lot to go there. So I don't know what this part has anything to do with it. Because yeah, if you resume your game at another time, what they mean is if you go back and repurchase your game. That repurchase is the issue. If I buy a game for $60, I expect to be able to. I don't care if it's 3 years down the line. Let's take that. If it's an online game and they have to keep the servers running, then obviously I could log on and the servers be down 3 years later. You know, the game didn't work out as well. Maybe they moved on to a new game. I can understand that being closed down. But if if you want to imply that, let's say I bought Skyrim. Let's say I bought Skyrim, $60. It wasn't $60 when it came out, by the way. It was way back in a time where it wasn't $60 to buy a game. At least when I purchased it. Maybe I got it on deal or something. I buy that game. I play that game. I get bored of that game, which is hard because Skyrim's pretty dope. And then I don't play it for 2-3 years, and then I see, oh, there's some cool mods that came out, or I just want to, I just want to go back in and kill people. And I go to log in, and the game is no longer. So we're gonna use Xbox for example. The game's no longer in my Xbox library, and I've had this happen recently. Okay, so I went to play. What was it? It's happened multiple times. It happened with Minecraft, but the one that irritated me the most was this one. I'm gonna have to open my Xbox. I'm gonna open my Xbox app because I think I ended up having to repurchase it, which was real. Oh, it was Skyrim. What the fuck am I talking about? It was Skyrim. I absolutely owned it. I've played it on my Xbox One. I have saved files on my Xbox One. And I know I've played it on my Xbox One. I've owned it for years. I know I've played on it. And I go in, I'm trying to re-download it. They're like, did you have a physical copy? I'm like, no, I never had a physical copy of Skyrim on my Xbox One. Because I have an old copy of the Xbox 360 one from when I had my Xbox 360. But when I moved up to my Xbox, it's not backwards compatible, which we can talk about how that's stupid in the first place because it was one of their most popular games ever. And they didn't make it backwards compatible. And it's because it's a money grab. Shane's here. We'll ask him about it. His opinion.
Hello.
I'm live, by the way.
This is the second time today people have asked me for my opinion. What's up?
This is something I think that this is the entire point of the stream. This is the title of the stream, for the way. First off, if it has to do with the escape from Tarkov bullshit, which I'm sure you're infuriated.
Oh, you saw what just happened, right?
Yeah. So, and I figured that you, of all people, would probably be irritated with that because, in my opinion, I've seen you play Tarkov. I've seen you play Escape from Tarkov, and while it looks fun, even adding PvE and adding whatever, I still don't think no matter what they do, it's not a $250 game.
So, one thing you should be aware of.
Okay.
So, do you know the Darkness? I believe it's called the Darkness Edition, Edge of Darkness.
Well, yes, if you have the Edge of Darkness version.
I do have that.
Okay, well that's great for you, but you only get it. You only get to play PvE for 6 months. Then you have to upgrade to keep it.
So here's the thing. I also have people in your chat talking to you about Tarkov.
I had 2 people in chat. Now. Oh, no, there's someone in chat. Yeah, hold on.
Let me ask them this then. Do they know what the Edge of Darkness edition, what it was supposed to do? Like, if they don't know, like, in the next few minutes, I'll tell you. Or if you want me to,
okay,
I will.
you can just tell me because they're gonna be like 30 seconds.
So, the Edge of Darkness is that you were supposed to get every single future DLC for free. That's why they charged $150 for it. They're basically saying, hey, listen, you're buying in for the long run for this game. You're here to support us. So you get every DLC regardless of what is in the future. And now they're basically not doing DLC. They got rid of that. And now they're doing these other things, which should be DLC. And they're doing that just to make more money. Because apparently, from another buddy of mine who I was just talking to who's like, really knows this. I guess he said that they are apparently, hypothetically, brain's failing me or tired, but apparently they're, I guess, running out of money. So that's why they're doing this. They're basically screwing them over. And did you see what happened just on Reddit right now? Like, people are posting about it, about the leaked talk they had, the leaked interview. It's been pretty much confirmed that it's true.
I do not know about this, so if you want to go ahead.
So apparently, the dude said, let me find this so I'm not, lying.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not saying you're lying. I would never assume you're lying.
So apparently, the owner of BSG says Edge of Darkness users are not supporters. It's time to understand the true believers. Edge of Darkness dollars are freeloaders. Closed beta $40 freeloaders.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
who's that? That's from the CEO or the owner of the game, or
Apparently that's like the owner said it. And there's also like they go to the Reddit, they go to Escape from Tarkov, like there's people talking about it, and there's like a whole freaking transcript of it.
yeah, see. I'm sorry. I don't care what they put in the game. I don't. I'm surprised you paid $150 for the game. To be
So
completely honest,
the
I'm not
whole
calling
reason
you.
I paid
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
it just the whole reason I paid for it was you're supposed to get every DLC in the future for free. And what they did right now, this whole PvE thing, that was supposed to have been a DLC for the game. And now, because they want to make more money, and they also don't really care about anyone else, because they know that it's impossible for people to get their money back,
Mm-hmm.
they're making it no longer DLC. So those who actually paid for it, they're just getting screwed over. Like they're showing their true colors.
Well, no, it's all a money grab. We're not going to pretend we don't know it's a money grab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think what's irritating about it is because this is coming after. This is coming after. Fuck. Where's my? There. This is coming after the whole Ubisoft stuff, where they were talking about players needed to get more comfortable with not owning their games and stuff. Like, it seems like the gaming stuff is going in a really bad direction. Because so you're not happy about this. I assume you're not happy about this.
No,
Okay.
because they're basically saying, "Oh, you paid $150 to get every DLC in the future for
And you're a
free." Well,
and you're a freeloader because you gave us $150 while we weren't that popular, and now we're getting popular, so now we're going to charge
oh.
$250, and really only thing you're getting is PVE.
And here's the other thing: they also literally even said in a tweet that there would never be a single microtransaction added to this game. Now they're adding microtransactions, and that's besides the point of the whole cheating issue. Like, you know about that, right?
Yeah, because they don't deal they don't they're anti cheats bullshit, right?
Yeah, and it's like they'll come out and they'll say like, "We banned 33,000 cheaters. We banned 20,000 cheaters. You should all be happy. We banned them now," even though it's like, okay, you banned those people. They're just going to buy whole new copies of the game because they are making boatloads of money by cheating. I mean, that's like saying, I banned this person from, I don't know, like going to this. I don't know, like it doesn't make sense. It's yeah.
I Okay, the Tarkov thing specifically is infuriating enough, in my opinion. And I don't even play the fucking game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not. We had that whole Star Wars thing. I don't know if you heard about that. What was it? Star Wars game is like $150.
Oh, yeah, one other funny thing you might want to know. So I didn't know this. Someone was a buddy of mine I was talking to said apparently some person, I don't remember who it was, made a video on them like testing like cheats and all that. And apparently, I guess they did. I don't remember if it was 8 out of 10 games or 80 out of 100 games or something. Pretty much every game of Tarkov they played with those cheats, there was at least one cheater in every game.
So wait. So their anti cheat detected it.
No, this person bought a cheat in
Oh,
order to like see how the cheaters are. And apparently, like cheaters, like if they see other cheaters, they'll like wiggle in the game, so they know
oh.
not to go after those cheaters because they're all making money on this. So I guess they don't want to harm each other making money. And, like people, like there's a lot of people using wall hacks, auto, everything. It's just, in my opinion, if nothing happens, people need to stop playing the game, let it die.
And let them get what's
It's
coming
like,
to
yeah,
them essentially.
yeah, honestly, I'd say if anyone recently got the game, in my opinion, if they're still in the available window,
return
I'd say
it.
get a refund.
Yeah.
Don't go to Tarkov to get a refund. I guarantee they'll just probably cancel your account and say bye bye. You don't get your money back. If you want to do it, I'd say do chargebacks on your credit card to get the money back.
Yeah, and in fact, chargebacks kind of can hurt them too. Not that you should use it as a weapon, because what I know from
Dude, in this situation, with what they're doing about them,
well, no, no,
literally,
no. I'm saying for other people, use it as a weapon for them because they kind of deserve it. But
yeah,
like,
yeah, like not others, yeah.
yeah, because I've seen a lot of like sometimes I've gotten donations on Twitch, and the chargeback if it's money and not
It
like
hits you hard.
bits, it hits the streamer. But if you're donating bits and they charge it back, Steam eats the cost. But it charges back more than the dollar. It charged, I think it's like $13 or something like that for the chargeback. So
Yeah.
people will donate $1, $1, $1, $1, and then charge them all back. So I mean, I think it's perfectly fine in my opinion. This shit is absurd. $250 for any game that isn't like a VR MMO with the whole, maybe not whole setup, but like, something extravagantly new, something amazing. You know what I mean? I could understand that, but this is just them. Just okay. People started to like our games. We gave them Edge of Darkness. They already paid $150. What's stopping us from charging them $250?
They also got rid of Edge of Darkness as well.
Okay, so you don't even have access to the stuff that Edge of Darkness gave you?
No, you have it, but no one can buy it anymore.
Oh, okay.
And also, I'd say, and yeah, I don't care what anyone says to me about saying this, but I'd say everyone keep a fair warning on this. They screwed over everybody about Edge of Darkness, promising them stuff, and then screwing them over. Who's to say in another few months, maybe even a year,
What happens
they'll
when
do the exact same
yeah.
thing to this new edition, like where that whole PvE thing, like how if you buy the 250, you get it. Maybe they'll say in a year, so they'll say like, due to the amount of interest in it,
You have
we're
to
no
pay
longer going to
monthly.
be
You have to
giving
pay
you it.
monthly for
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I'll say they might just start doing that too, and people are going to be saying, "Oh, that's crazy. They would never do that." Blah blah blah. Well, people were probably saying the exact same thing about that. If you bought the Edge of Darkness, you get the DLC for free, which means you should get it. And people are probably saying they wouldn't screw you over with that. Well, they will clearly. So
Okay,
anything you buy from them from now on
you have to
is
take it with a grain of salt. You have to assume you don't get it.
not a
Forever.
grain of salt, ton of salt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between like a company like Blizzard with the way that they run WoW, you know what I mean? With like a monthly subscription because it's like upfront from the get-go. Hasn't been a lot of, like as far as I know, hasn't been a lot of issues, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you bought this DLC, now you don't have access to it.
The plus side with WoW, like you can actually now earn like monthly subscriptions
Yeah,
by playing the
yeah,
game
we
with
heard
in-game money.
yeah, we learned that from who was it? We learned that the other day in the Discord. Which is a cool. I think that's a cool feature. So, I've even played games where it's free to play completely. You download the game, you play it, and you can earn in-game currency, and then you can get the upgraded version. You know what I mean?
Or ones where if you get a subscription, like it actually does a meaningful impact to the game.
Yeah, yeah. I've even seen games where you can cash out essentially. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm not talking about gambling games, which I do not promote, by the way. I'm talking about like games where like you can earn in-game currency, and then it's not for like a lot, but like if you get like say 100,000 gold, you know what I mean?
Maybe a buck or two.
Buck or two, you know what I mean? Whatever the currency exchange rate from the game is, which kind of gives the currency in the game a lot more oomph to it. Which is wild because that means the company is paying you out. You know what I mean? Say you never even spent a dollar. You know what I mean? And you just earned so much currency, and then you turned it in, and say it's just $10. The company's paying you out $10.
To be fair, in those type of games, like the more you're playing, the more you're giving them in terms of like playtime that they're able to use, like to
Yeah.
show how like fun their game is, quote unquote, to get people to play. So they're paying you a little bit, but how much more like revenue are you making
Oh,
from
absolutely, absolutely. Well,
getting
yeah,
those statistics up?
yeah, it wouldn't make sense for them to pay out if they weren't making more money
Yeah.
than they're paying out. Okay, so Tarkov shit, obviously bullshit. We'll hop over to Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Actually, one other quick thing, if you mind me
Okay,
butting in.
absolutely.
So, if you mind about like MMOs and all that, like World of Warcraft.
Hmm.
Do you know Star Wars: The Old Republic?
Yeah, I played it.
You buy 1 month of the, and I don't mean like Knights of the Old Republic. So if you
Oh
buy
no,
one
I played
month of
Knights of the
the,
Old Republic. I'm sorry. I played Knight. I know they're two different games. I keep fucking forgetting that.
yeah, like I mean, like if you buy 1 month of the subscription, you get every DLC for free, and you keep it like permanently.
Yeah, see, and then they're gonna go over and fuck over Star Wars Outlaws. So, um, I don't know if you even heard of the game Star Wars Outlaws yet?
Yeah, the $150 Ultimate Edition where you
I
have
think it's
exclusive
130, but
stuff.
it's still fucking ridiculous. What you get in return is bullshit. So the only thing you get for the $130, so there's a 109 gold edition and even more expensive 100, I'm reading off the thing, $130 ultimate edition. Play the exclusive Jabba Gambit mission at launch and you get 2 days free, I mean 2 days early access. That's and in-game cosmetics. That's pretty much all you get. For I don't know, hold on. I want to see the difference between the 109. So what do you get with the 109? Backlash. Some players criticizing Ubisoft's decision to lock a mission behind a season pass for what is a full price single player only game. That's another thing. It's a single player game. You know what I mean? Ubisoft has issued a statement insisting Jabba the Hutt and Hutt Cartel will be part of the experience for all players regardless of which edition they buy. To clarify, the Jabba the Hutt and Hutt Cartel are one of the main syndicates in Star Wars Outlaws and will be part of the experience for everyone who purchased the game regardless of the edition. A Ubisoft spokesperson told IGN the Jabba's Hutt mission is an optional, additional mission with the Hutt Cartel along with Kay and Nyx's journey across the Outer Rim. The mission will be available to those who purchase the Season Pass or an edition of the game which includes the Season Pass. However, the scope of the Jabba's Gambit mission remains unclear, leaving those who do not buy the Season Pass unsure of what they're missing out on. Ubisoft has said the pass the players can work for and even betray Jabba as the head of one of the Star Wars Outlaws criminal factions. What I it's still 100 and let's say it's a $110 game for Gold Edition, and they haven't I haven't seen anywhere where they clarify what's the difference between if it's just that one mission. I'm sorry, one mission in a game, it better be a whole ass new game. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this. And then like that, yeah, quick and done, whatever. It's bullshit. But then we go over to like this shit Ubisoft has been saying about how they want players to get used to not owning what they buy. And I have a
And
couple
I will.
things.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, no, you can go ahead.
Just if you mind butting in really quick. I just want to say there was one thing they got right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this: what's the name of the game?
Money. I don't know what you
No,
mean.
the actual name of the game.
Ubisoft is just talking. Oh, unless you were talking about
The Star Wars game,
Star
yeah.
Wars
Outlaws,
Outlaws.
right?
Outlaws, yeah.
So, I mean, this to Outlaws follow the rules.
Granted.
So I'd say this is one thing that this Outlaws probably could make a lot of people outlaws by
Piracy.
sailing the high seas. So
Um,
they're definitely making the game live up to its name.
yeah. Yeah. Like I've heard the comment repeatedly. If I buy a game and I don't, and if buying a game doesn't mean I own it, then piracy doesn't mean I stole it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel for that statement. Not that I'm condoning piracy, because I'm live. And I'm not condoning piracy in general. But if I buy a game for $60 and then 2 years later I haven't played it in 6 months and I go back to play it and this has happened to me recently. I don't know if I told you about this. It happened to me last year. I know you know about the time Minecraft disappeared from my stuff
Yeah.
and I had to repurchase it and I just didn't really think twice about it at the time. I was just like, okay, maybe somewhere I made a mistake. And then I went back eventually later and found like, no, I definitely fucking owned it. I owned a digital copy of the game. You know what I mean? How did I play all the times with, all you guys? You know what I mean? And then for it to disappear, I was like, okay, whatever. I bit the bullet and just bought it. You know what I mean? I just rebought it. But
It,
then I was playing. I was the other like two. I want to say 2 3 weeks ago. I was like, you know what? I saw a video because I'm really into mods for Skyrim. A video popped up of a bunch of new mods that they added. You know what I mean? That like
Hmm?
a bunch of new mods that increased like the number of trees in a forest that make it feel more like a forest. You know what I mean? A bunch of new sound effects. I was like, oh, I would love to just do another playthrough with that. So I went to load up Skyrim on my Xbox. It's gone. And I was like, okay, well, obviously, I played it because I know I played it on my Xbox One, right?
yeah.
I even have save files on my Xbox One, which you could say were moved over, but that's not the case because I've had this Xbox One for say 6 7 years, and I know I played Skyrim like last year. So I was like, oh, I must just, I guess I never owned it digitally. I tricked myself and I was like, oh, I have a physical copy somewhere. You know what I mean? For my Xbox 360 days. So I went and got it, put it in. Non-compatible. Not backwards compatible. Which, by the way, is stupid. How do you make one of your most popular games not backwards compatible? Oh, what's the reason? Money. So you have to buy it again. You know what I mean?
I will say that's why I do the PC because it's like yeah, it gets expensive over time because you gotta obviously buy more expensive like components to upgrade, but
Yeah.
you can play any game pretty much you own on that PC.
Yeah, I don't see Steam. I don't see Steam. I don't think I've ever heard of Steam taking back your games. You know what I mean? Like, no, you no longer have access to this game because you. So we're gonna get into the whole leasing thing here in a second. But I called Microsoft. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, they do not like to handle. Even though it's a Xbox, Xbox is Microsoft. They don't like to handle Xbox issues. They want to handle computer printer bullshit. I call them like, no, it's about my Xbox. And they tried to send me to like an automated thing. I was like, okay, I'll try, but I mean, this might be like too complicated for like an artificial chat box to figure out. And it was, and I was like, okay, I want to talk to someone for real. Scheduled to call. Call came back like an hour later, and I tried to explain to the guy, which I'm not being mean because he was Indian, but it was very hard to understand him. I'm not making fun of Indians. I'm not being racist or anything. It was just very hard to understand him because his accent was very thick. You know what I mean? And I kept trying to explain to him. I'm like, hey, I know for a fact I've played Skyrim on this Xbox One. You know what I mean? I have save files. I I've played this game a bunch of times. I've only had Xbox Game Pass a couple times, and I've never used it for Skyrim because I fucking owned it. So he's like, okay, I'll go back through your purchase history to find when you purchased it. So he goes back. He's like, okay, well, I've gone back this many years. He puts me on hold, comes back. He's like, I went back this many years, and it doesn't seem like you purchased it. There was an attempt to purchase it in 2017. I'm like, an attempt to purchase it? What do you mean? He's like, oh, well, it looks like the purchase didn't go through. I'm like, well, the purchase did go through because I played your game. I played the game. You know what I mean? And then I had to look it up to see if it was a common problem. And yeah, a lot of people just had it removed from Skyrim specifically removed from their library.
So they can make more money because they get to resell it in their
I'm not.
latest edition.
I won't rebuy it. I will buy. I would rather, honestly, even if it's more money, which it might not be because it's old Xbox 360. I would rather just go back and buy an Xbox 360.
It's still $20 on even on Steam Skyrim.
Huh?
Were you saying rebuy Skyrim or rebuy an Xbox?
No, I would really rebuy an Xbox 360 because I have a hard copy of the game. I have two hard copies of the game, but they're on Xbox 360, but they're not backwards compatible to Xbox One. So I would just rebuy an Xbox 360 and play it on that. I'd probably just buy it on Steam, but my point being is I'd rather just buy a used old Xbox than give them more money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's BS.
Because I'm tired. I'm tired of giving. I'm tired of giving. with the Minecraft thing, I kind of just immediately bit the bullet and bought the game. But with Skyrim, I was like, no, I know for a fucking fact I've played this game on my Xbox. I never got it using Game Pass because I owned it. Um, I when I go, so here's how I know I didn't use it through Game Pass because one, I have Legendary Edition files, which the Game Pass doesn't give you access, has never, from what I've looked up, never given you access to the Legendary Edition files. So I have save files from the, the DLCs.
Yeah, and Game Pass probably wasn't even existing around when you played it.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Either, regardless, but the files do show when they were created, and it was around 2017, 2018, and there's one file from last year when I went to revisit it. And regardless, the point being is, the Legendary Edition has never been available on Game Pass, and yet I have stuff from the Legendary Edition saved because I went and got Game Pass, and I went to play the game, and it was like, oh, you can't play this save file because it has things from the Legendary Edition. Would you like to go purchase the Legendary Edition? You know what I mean? Because I was just
That's
trying to,
possible to have a save file if you never played it.
yeah, that's what I tried to explain to the dude on the line, and he's like, no, it seems like you tried to purchase it. I'm like, no, I did purchase it, and now you're removing it. And here, this is going to get me to my thing specifically about Xbox. This is going to be an issue across platforms we're going to be seeing is the whole you don't own your games. When you go to Xbox and you purchase a game, when you're on your Xbox, you go in there, it says you own this game. It says buy this game. It doesn't say lease this game. It doesn't say rent this game. It says buy this game. You own this game. You know what I mean? That kind of sounds like I'm not leasing it. Kind of sounds like I own this game. You know what I mean? I own this copy of this game. And it's kind of pushed me away so much from even buying any digital media anymore, any digital games, which I really like because, I have a daughter and, she puts games in and out of the Xbox and she might scratch one up and I'd rather have a digital copy. She can't do that too. But I do like having physical copies. But the thing is we're seeing more and more companies just aren't putting many physical copies into distribution. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's kind of obvious. The whole reason behind that is number one, it's cheaper to do it digitally than physically because you don't have to, buy all the crap you
It
ship it
doesn't. Yeah,
in.
it doesn't cost them any physical
And yet they
manufacturing.
still charge the same price, and now they're charging more.
That's what's wild, right? Because it doesn't
Yeah.
cost that file that you copied a billion times costs you no money,
Yeah.
and now you're gonna charge not only the same but more for the game.
Yeah, like how right now they're trying to say, oh no, the old price of $59.99 for a brand new game, which is always good, never wink wink bad, is way too old. We're not able to make money anymore. Look at last year. Company has record profits.
Every
Company has
single
record
video game
profits.
company has record profits, and I would like to
And
say,
yet
yeah, okay, go ahead.
they're saying $69.99 is needed for us to keep our people employed, even though look at
Pay,
the CEOs of those
yeah,
companies. How much bonuses are they getting? Actually, no. We should all be kind. I mean, look at that. Let's say even Microsoft, Bill Gates. Like that last year, he could probably only afford to buy one yacht. We have to think about those businessmen. They need to be able to buy two, maybe three yachts, so they can give them to their children and their family. We have to think about them.
it's
It,
yeah. So the thing is I want to say specifically to Chad and everything, or anyone who watches the VOD later, because I'm not looking at the chat right now, so I don't know who's watching. It's not the game. I've heard a lot of people saying. I've seen a lot of people in YouTube chats saying the game developers, the game developers, the game. It's not the game developers. It is not the people who worked on the game. It is not even the person running the team, the game devs. It is the owner of whatever company is putting out the game. So don't say like the people that worked on this game are probably getting paid shit. Even the top developer in the game is probably getting paid shit. It is. So when we say Ubisoft, we're talking about the CEO of Ubisoft. We're talking about the board members of Ubisoft. We're not talking about the game developers themselves. And I want to make that very clear because they aren't making these decisions. It's like when you go into McDonald's and order something and someone's like, oh, well, we don't have that. You can't get mad at them for not having it. If you want to get mad at someone, get mad at the company McDonald's. You, do not blame game developers because they're incredibly underpaid and they work incredibly hard, and sometimes they come out with like gems of games that we fucking love. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but that's another thing I want to talk about because I will say that yes, sometimes game developers come out with really companies come out with really really good games. But what we've seen more and more over the years, and moving more and more towards this not owning what you buy or spending $250 on a game, we're seeing games that are more and more often not finished upon release. They just,
Cyberpunk's a good example of that.
yeah. So they release a game and then essentially say, oh, well, either they continually make updates to it, or which is fine, but then you would just kind of be considered early access, whatever. But you paid full price for an early access game, and sometimes you never get the rest. So I bought 7 Days to Die on Xbox. You don't ever. They've already said they're never moving past the alpha, the beta they're on, and you're never gonna get that on Xbox. So if you're gonna buy 7 Days to Die, buy it on PC because that's the only way you're gonna get full access to the whole thing that the game has to offer. But games that come out and aren't finished, a lot of the companies like to pretend, oh, we're adding this, which is just either adding to the game or let's say it's even completing the game as a DLC, and that you have to pay for it. No, that's just what you promised for the game, and we've essentially been being paid, we've been playing a early access game essentially that we paid full price for usually, which is
And to be fair, man,
yeah,
like how many times do they make those promises and they fall flat
absolutely
as
no.
well?
Um, and
I mean,
that's what I was talking about. 7 Days to Die. That's why I was talking about 7 Days to Die. They just came out and said no, we're not gonna update the game on Xbox. We're gonna focus on PC players. We're gonna completely fuck over the people who bought 7 Days to Die at full price, and now they will never have the full game. It's not DLC. It's just the updates. But they're unwilling to do that for the Xbox users. I'm sure it's the same for PlayStation. Um, and we're just gonna have to get used. Unfortunately, I think we are just gonna have
I,
to get used to this.
I mean, I gotta say this, dude. Like the only way there's ever gonna be a meaningful change
Is if we stop
is if
buying their games.
every gamer just says we're done with this. We're not letting them like pick our bones for like what we have left, like vultures. Like we need to stop buying any game. Like we need to stop doing any pre-order. That needs to become a thing of the past.
Pre-order,
Any
yes,
gamer who
absolutely.
likes the game, do not pre-order. Do not give them that early money so they can lie and screw you over. And then a lot of people get mad. Just say no. And that's enough. No more pre-orders. No one do pre-orders.
Pay for the product that you get.
Companies,
Make sure that the product that you are being promised already exists.
and then get like companies like EA now, like Activision, all that stuff. Like, I hate saying it, just even if you want to get a game, there are other like obviously once again, I you say you don't condone pirating. I don't either, but don't buy those games.
Well,
Don't give them a penny.
hold on. Let's.
Uh,
We don't even have to go that far. We don't even have to go the pirating part. Let's look at games that have done really successful that were really small teams that didn't fuck over their people. You know what I mean? Among Us was a good example. You know what I mean? Small dev team. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Indie games. Look at your indie games that you can find. So another one was Lethal Company. I don't know how much Shane really enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people did. It nearly outpaced PUBG there for a bit. There's always a bunch of new games being put on Steam, and I know it might suck to say, oh, I've played this series. Say the next GTA 6 may never come out, so I'm not going to use that as an example. Let's say the next Elder Scrolls. If they're going to claim that you don't own that game when you buy it, or they're gonna put it behind a $250 paywall, or they're gonna release it unfinished and then say, oh, we're gonna make updates to it. Don't buy it. It's gonna suck because you want to play that game. You've been waiting for that game forever. But wait, if no one buys it upon release, and you make it known the reason you're not buying it on release, things can legitimately change. Because here's the thing, as much as we're like, okay, we have no power individually, no, you don't. But and it's probably not going to happen, but if everyone says like, fuck no, I'm not going to pre-order Elder Scrolls. I'm not going to pre-order it. Or I'm not going to pre-order the Star Wars Outlaw. If no one pre-orders that, if no one buys the Gold or Ultimate Edition, or this $250 version of Escape from Tarkov, if no one buys it, we have that power as long as everyone does it, or a very large portion. If they don't see returns on it, they have to adjust their system. The reason they're doing this is because they have seen returns on this stupid shit they pull, because we all do it. There are, to be fair, there are games. There are companies that do still put out full games. You know what I mean? There may be a DLC, which used to be a cool thing to hear about as a DLC going to your game, but now it's like content that you were promised at launch anyway. But Pokemon, as much as I don't like the new gimmicks to Pokemon, they still put out a full and complete game. You pay 60. What? What? They do. They put out a full and complete game.
To be fair, in that last game they released, they said they couldn't fit all the Pokemon in the game because it's too big. But then they released DLC then with a lot of those missing Pokemon.
It only added like 70 Pokemon. You got to realize there's thousands of Pokemon. I
mean, to be fair, man, it's like they're saying in the base game, like you can't say it's really a full release there because they're saying, yeah, we could have arguably added these other Pokemon at the base game when it was released. But now it's like, oh, instead of us actually doing that, let's just see what we can get away with now. Because they could be doing that right now to test the waters to see if in the future they can start saying, hey, listen, we're going to be putting a lot more money and time into other stuff, and then start selling more and more Pokemon as DLC separately. And this could be the first step to that, to be fair. I mean, think about Horse Armor DLCs. This could be that Horse Armor DLC for Pokemon.
Okay, I was misspoken. 230 Pokemon were added if you combine both versions of the game for Scarlet and Violet's DLCs. However, I will say that not only did they add that, they added a lot more game. There's a lot more game. And I know that because Chloe's playing it, and she's like, she even said it's almost an entire additional game.
I'm just saying, man, this could easily be Horse Armor DLC. The start where they could be just having it only in the games coming in the future at some point. They'll only have the Pokemon from that generation. If you want to get any older ones, it'll be, you want to get ones from the original series, get the original series DLC for $29.99.
But that's not what's happening though, because they had plenty of old, so how many Pokemon? Hold on. Let's do some math here.
I'm just saying this could be the start, because they did say they couldn't hold all those Pokemon because there are too many, but then they have them in DLC.
They have
I know you wanted to defend it, but this could be the start, man. Like, once again, I know you think it's a horse DLC.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but let's just do the math. There's like 1,200 Pokemon, and I think that was before Scarlet and Violet, so hold on. So 112 new Pokemon were added to Scarlet and Violet. So those are original to Scarlet and Violet. In Scarlet and Violet. Just base. There are 400 Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, and that includes the DLCs. So, and 293 of Pokemon from already existing generations returned. So yeah, there's 400 Pokemon. If you think about like the map size, the world, and all the stuff, that's 1/3. Maybe it is just really difficult. That's including the DLCs. Maybe it's just really difficult. Maybe it is just too much to add all of those Pokemon to a game file. I mean, it's not the first game that didn't give you access to every single Pokemon that ever existed. And they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and I'm sure when the machines get better and better, like the Switch 2, you know what I mean? Maybe they'll be able to
You're
do
free.
that.
I mean, you're free to have your own opinion, man. I'm just saying though, this feels like it's going Hawthorne around. Like, I'd say remember this conversation like 5, 10 years.
Okay, okay.
See if it has money.
That's
You know
fine.
what I mean?
No, no, I get it, but like, let's look at other games. When Nintendo tends to release games, let's not use the reason I would trust Pokemon in this circumstance is not that I'm saying they're like astronomically good games, but things like they release Mario Kart, you get Mario Kart. They release Super Smash Brothers, you get Super Smash Bros. If you get what you pay for. Yes, there may be DLCs down the line, but they're generally all just additions. And the DLC that they added for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it's not like they just like, oh, if you want these Pokemon in the game, pay this money. They made what is almost essentially an entirely new game, an entirely new area with an entirely new storyline that they and the reason that they were able to add new Pokemon to that is because they made another area that is separate from the mainland. It's essentially a different game. They can add more Pokemon there. But I mean, if you look at Scarlet, you haven't played Scarlet and Violet, so I mean, to be fair, you can't really speak to it. You know what I mean? Because you haven't really played it yet. They have a ton of Pokemon. But Pokemon are everywhere. I don't know where they would add more Pokemon in the mainland. So they made a DLC, which I think was relatively decently priced, and you bought it, and you have access to this new area with an additional 400 Pokemon. So, that's including ones from this generation, but older ones that they brought back that weren't on the mainland. I just don't know. Nintendo doesn't tend to do the shit that like other companies do. Like they tend to release a full game. When you buy Mario Kart, you have the full Mario Kart game. When you buy Smash Brothers, maybe like what did they do? Like 2 years later, 2 years after the game was out, they like, hey, here's a DLC if you want some additional characters. Which is fine because like it's not if you buy it, you're buying it for the new characters. You don't have to buy it for the game to be complete. You know what I mean? The game works on its own. That's different than what all these other companies are doing. I would hard press for a game that Nintendo makes that, and I hate dick riding Nintendo because I think they're jackasses. But I would be hard pressed to find a game where they release a game and then try to like scam people into purchasing more. Nintendo makes their money and they know they make their money, and they can release a trash Pokemon game every 6 months if they wanted and make a bunch of money, but they spend about 2-3 years between each main series game, and they release it, and then after about a year and a half they release some content extra. But I don't know. Like it's okay.
I'll say we're just probably not going to agree on this point, to be honest. Like, I see your opinion, I respect it. Just
well, no, I respect your opinion too. I maybe flesh it out a little bit more because I'm not completely understanding what you're meaning. Because like I understand that you're like, okay, in a few years I absolutely could see it, especially with the addition of more and more Pokemon. But I would hope with the addition of better systems that they would just put in. Because like they already know that not including the national dex in Scarlet and Violet was a huge issue. So
but did they still make their money? That's the thing. It's like, as long as they make their money, I'd say this: never trust a company. They're all going to be scummy.
Well, no, I agree with that. I don't trust fucking Nintendo ever since what they did with Pokemon Go. So, which I loved the idea of, by the way. I was so upset with what they did with it.
But I do have to go in a bit, dude, if that's cool.
That's fine.
I got some other stuff that I really need to get done.
I just wanted to chat with you. It's fine. I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to chat. I mean, I might be back on if you're still on in a little bit. That's cool.
Just message me.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
Also, what are you doing tomorrow?
I ain't got shit to do, man.
Want to do a game at all or anything?
Absolutely. I'd love to jump back on Sea of Thieves and hopefully maybe get Cass on and just be able to, fuck around.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see what he's saying. Like, we could run into an issue later where, and I think the more and more Pokemon they add could be an issue, but I feel like Nintendo doesn't do the same thing. Nintendo generally releases a fully made game and maybe releases what used to be DLCs. So, like Skyrim, the original game, they released it. It was a full and complete game. You could play it. You did everything. But then they released the Vampire, whatever, and then they released the Solstheim DLC additions to the game. And I feel like that's what Pokemon does. Now, was I upset about the fact that you couldn't get every Pokemon? Yes. The National Dex should be in games. But, I mean, like, I could understand why, like, it might be too big of a undertaking for them to do. For their system. I think it's the system that's the issue. Because, like, imagine the storage space that would take. Pokemon already takes a huge section of storage space for people who don't have extended storage for their Switches. So, I mean, we'll see. I get what he's saying, though. I completely get what he's saying. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Maybe we'll get on. Maybe we'll play some games. I just want to talk to him about that.